And Bachelard takes that idea and applies it to our inner lives.
So we can use fire, symbolically, to transform our thoughts, our emotions.
He's saying it can help us break down those old patterns, those limiting beliefs, become more authentic versions of ourselves.
It's like fire can help us refine ourselves, like we're being forged in the flames.
I like that imagery. And that connects back to fire as this catalyst for change, doesn't it? This powerful force that can help us let go and move forward.
And isn't it interesting how he connects all these seemingly disparate ideas? From ancient myths to poetry to alchemy, it's all woven together.
That's Bachelard for you. He's a master of weaving together these threads of thought.
And he even goes so far as to suggest that fire can be a source of creative inspiration. Like watching a fire burn can actually spark new ideas, new ways of seeing things.
It's like fire unlocks this hidden potential within us.
Have you ever had that experience, like you're staring into the flames and suddenly, boom, you have this aha moment?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think we've all had those moments of inspiration. And Bachelard helps us understand why fire has this unique ability to do that.
Yeah.
It's not just about the visuals. It's about how it connects to our deepest desires, our fears, even our aspirations.
It's tapping into something deep within us.
Exactly. And I think that's one of Bachelard's main points. That fire is so much more than just this physical thing, this source of heat and light. It's a symbol, a metaphor, a force that shapes us in ways we might not even realize.
And he challenges us to look at fire in this new way, to move beyond that purely practical scientific understanding.
To embrace its symbolic power, its ability to touch our emotions, even our sense of self.
So it's about seeing fire with fresh eyes, appreciating all its complexity.
Yeah.
Now, getting into the later parts of the book, Bachelard takes us in a different direction. He starts looking at how fire has been studied throughout history, like the science of fire.
Oh, interesting. So we're going from myth and symbolism to actual scientific inquiry.
Exactly. He traces the history of how scientists have tried to understand fire, going all the way back to the ancient Greeks.
So we're talking about early theories of combustion, things like that.
Yeah. He even talks about the phlogiston theory, which I'm sure some of our listeners might remember from science class.
For those who don't, phlogiston was this hypothetical substance that scientists thought was released when things burned.
Right, and of course we know now that phlogiston doesn't exist. But what Bachelard finds fascinating is that even when the science was wrong, the symbolism persisted.
So the idea of fire is this purifying agent. It was just so ingrained in their thinking.
Exactly. And Bachelard links that to our deeper psychological need for purity, that desire to shed the old and embrace the new.
It's like those rituals we talked about earlier, the bonfires, the burning of incense.
It's about cleansing, renewal,
Even transformation.
and Bachelard suggests that this need for purity, it's not just a cultural thing. It's a deep-seated human impulse.
It's like it's wired into us somehow.
Exactly. But he also cautions us that this desire for purity can be taken too far, it can become distorted.
Oh, right. Like with obsessive cleanliness or some forms of religious fanaticism.
Right. It's a reminder that even our best impulses can become unhealthy if they're not kept in check.
It's like fire itself. It can be a powerful force for good, but it can also be destructive.
Exactly. Balance is key. Always.
Now, I want to shift gears a bit and talk about something a little more positive. Bachelard also explores fire as a source of creative inspiration, and I think this is something that a lot of people can relate to.
Oh, definitely. We've all felt that, haven't we? Staring into a fire and feeling our creative juices flowing.
It's like fire just unlocks something within us.
He talks about the poet Novalis again and how Novalis saw fire as this symbol of spiritual awakening and creative energy.
And how fire transforms things. Darkness into light, coldness into warmth, even death into rebirth.
Exactly. Novalis believed that contemplating fire could actually spark our imagination and help us tap into our creative potential.
It makes me think of that feeling of awe and wonder that we talked about earlier.
It's like fire connects us to something primal, something instinctual, something that's at the core of our creativity.
And Bachelard seems to agree with that. He suggests that fire, with its unpredictable nature and transformative power, can act as a muse for artists, poets, anyone looking to tap into their creative potential.
So it's not just about literal fire, right? It's about cultivating that inner fire, that spark of creativity within ourselves.
That's it. And he gives us some clues on how to do that. It's about being curious, passionate, open to new experiences.
It's about embracing the unknown and allowing ourselves to be transformed by it.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive, it's clear that Bachelard has given us a lot to ponder. He's taken us on this incredible journey through myth and symbolism, through science and psychology, all connected by this one powerful element: fire.
It's like he's not just analyzing fire. He's using it as a lens to understand ourselves, to understand our place in the world.
And he challenges us to look at fire and at the world around us in this new way, to see the deeper meaning, the hidden connections, the symbolism that often goes unnoticed.
To pay attention to those everyday experiences and find the extraordinary within them.
He's shown us how fire connects to our deepest desires, our fears, our creative impulses, even our yearning for knowledge and transformation. It's a powerful reminder that even the most ordinary things can hold profound secrets if we're willing to look closely enough.
And so, as we conclude our exploration of the psychoanalysis of fire, we hope you've enjoyed this journey with us. We hope it sparked your own curiosity, your own desire to delve deeper into the mysteries of fire and the human psyche.
And the next time you find yourself gazing into a fire, remember what Bachelard has taught us. Let the warmth of the flames ignite your imagination, and let the dance of light and shadow guide you on your own personal journey of discovery.
Who knows what insights and inspirations you might find waiting for you in the heart of those flames. That's it for our deep dive. Until next time, keep those inner flames burning.
You know, as we've been going through all this idea of purity that Bachelard keeps coming back to, it really stuck with me.
Yeah, it's a theme that runs throughout the book, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And it makes you think.
It does. Like when he talks about how early scientists viewed fire, you know, those who were trying to figure out how combustion worked.
Right, and they saw it as this pure elemental force. Like it held the key to understanding, well, everything.
Like it was the essence of matter itself.
He talks about the concept of phlogiston. I don't know if all our listeners are familiar with that. It was this hypothetical substance that scientists thought was released during burning.
Yeah, like fire was releasing this mysterious essence. And of course, we know now that theory was wrong, but it's interesting, isn't it?
It is, because even though the science was off, that symbolism of fire as this purifying agent, it just wouldn't go away.
It's like it was just too powerful to ignore.
And it makes you think about all those rituals and practices that have used fire throughout history, right? Bonfires, cremation, burning incense. There's this undeniable connection between fire and the idea of purification, cleansing even.
Absolutely. And Bachelard suggests that it's not just about the outward rituals, you know. He links it to a deeper psychological need for purity that we all have, that desire to get rid of the old, the unwanted, the things that feel impure, you know.
It's like we're drawn to that transformative power of fire. We want to use it to purify ourselves, to start fresh.
It's a powerful idea.
It is. It's like when you clean out your house, you know, or when you're trying to get rid of bad habits, negative thoughts. It's like you're trying to recreate that feeling of purification.
I like that. It's like we're trying to create our own personal bonfires, so to speak.
Exactly. But Bachelard also points out that this desire for purity, while it can be a good thing, it can also be, well...
distorted.
Yeah, like it can become unhealthy.
He brings up examples of obsessive cleanliness, even religious fanaticism, where that need for purity goes too far.
It's a good reminder that even our best intentions, even the things that seem positive on the surface, they can become harmful if we're not careful.
It's about finding that balance, right?
Right.
Just like with fire itself. Too much, and it can burn us.
Exactly. So let's shift gears a bit, talk about something a little more uplifting. Bachelard also spends a good amount of time discussing fire as a source of creative inspiration, and he brings up the poet Novalis again.
Ah, Novalis. He was fascinated by fire, wasn't he? He saw it as a symbol of spiritual awakening, this creative energy that could transform us.
And he loved how fire could take something dark and make it light, take something cold and make it warm. He even saw it as a force that could transform death into rebirth.
It's a powerful image. And Bachelard suggests that Novalis was onto something, you know? That fire really can spark our imagination. It can help us tap into our creative potential.
It makes me think about those aha moments we talked about earlier, that feeling of inspiration that comes seemingly out of nowhere.
And Bachelard thinks fire can play a role in those moments. He says it's about engaging with the symbolism of fire, allowing ourselves to be mesmerized by its movement, its energy.
And when we do that, it can lead to new insights, new perspectives, even breakthroughs in how we express ourselves creatively.
It's like fire itself is this creative force, constantly changing, always in motion, creating these new patterns and possibilities.
It's beautiful, isn't it? And it's not just about literal fire, right? It's about nurturing that inner fire within ourselves.
That spark of creativity, that drive to explore and create. And Bachelard gives us some ideas about how to do that.
Yeah, he talks about being curious about the world, staying
Mhm.
passionate, being open to new things. That's how we get that inner fire burning.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the psychoanalysis of fire, I think it's clear that Bachelard has given us a lot to think about. He's not just writing about fire, he's inviting us on this journey to explore the depths of our own minds.
He's showing us how we connect to the world around us, how we find meaning, how we create, how we transform.
It's a call to pay attention to the everyday things, to the symbolism that often goes unnoticed, to those small moments that can spark our imagination and lead us to something truly profound.
He's reminding us that even the most ordinary things, like fire, can hold incredible secrets. They just waiting to be discovered by those who are willing to look closely enough.
And so, as we conclude this exploration of the psychoanalysis of fire, we hope you've enjoyed the journey with us.
We hope it sparked your own curiosity and inspired you to look at the world with fresh eyes, to see the magic and meaning in even the simplest of things.
And remember, the next time you find yourself gazing into a fire, let the warmth of those flames ignite your imagination. Let the dance of light and shadow guide you on your own personal journey of discovery.
Who knows what insights and inspiration await you in the heart of those flames? That's it for our deep dive. Until next time, keep those inner flames burning.